Time stretches into eternity. And so it's like you have everything that you desire. Oh my gosh, we just lost power. I'm going to keep going. Um, okay. There's got to be a metaphor here. So let me put it this way. There's the illusion of separation, but you are never separate. It's just the illusion. And we experience this fallen consciousness, this separation from God, in order to understand fully how grounded our connection is, how rooted our connection is, that we are a part of God. Because otherwise, you won't understand that within yourself, or many of us as humans, we don't understand that within ourselves. We see God as something outside of ourselves. Jesus came here in physical incarnation to teach us that heaven is not an external place. It's not something outside of ourselves. It's something that we reach within. They shared to me the phrase the garden of the heart, and how we have to move out of the physical and into the heart. They said this is meditation. This is your higher heart ascension. It's understanding that the kingdom of heaven is not a physical place where God sits on the throne. It's remembering that you are part of God, that God is part of you, and that kingdom of heaven is within you. It's within your heart space. It's within you, and you reach that through meditation. You reach that through connecting with yourself and quieting the outside world, by allowing yourself to go deep within in connection with yourself. That's why we always say to know thyself. The more that you know yourself, the more that you connect fully with yourself. They're bringing me the metaphor now about the lights going off and how the power went out, and how sometimes you have to be in the darkness in order to understand what the light is. This is what we do in shadow work. Shadow work is not just the darkest parts of ourselves. Yes, we have to face our fears, and yes, we have to face our flaws, and yes, we have to face our mistakes and hold ourselves accountable in order to course correct. Yes, we have to look at the darkest parts of ourselves, but we look at the darkest parts of ourselves to allow ourselves to see where there is light. Part of your shadow work is also understanding the light of yourself, the love of yourself, and claiming that, owning that, knowing that you are beautiful, knowing that you are special, knowing that you are part of God, knowing that you're not separate. So Adam and Eve, being representative of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, experiencing that separation, or to understand what that union is, experiencing separation as an illusion, and understanding that you're always in union. You're always in union within yourself. You're always in union with your counterpart. You're always in union with God. And if you're not on that sacred union path of ascension with a partner, with a divine masculine or a divine feminine, then this is just within yourself. Understanding that God is always part of you. It's just sometimes we have to understand the contrast and understand that duality in order to transcend that duality. A phrase that I had shared was, if all is God and God is all, then God is omniscient and all is part of the whole. So if all is God and God is whole, or God is all and God is omniscient, then was it really kicking us out of the garden? Was it really disconnecting from God, or were we always connected to God? We just fed into the illusion of separation. We experienced the illusion of separation so that we can understand what our connection really means and how connected we always are. And so what is that fallen consciousness? What is that separation energy? What is that archetype? That archetype is just the forgotten divinity within yourself. You forget your divinity within yourself. That's all that is. Where you feel separation, it's that you forgot your divinity. You forgot your connection to God's source. You forgot that God's source is part of you, is always part of you. That's where you feel lost. That's where you feel abandoned. That's where you feel rejected. That's where you feel neglected. That's where you feel separate. I did a channeling over on Susan Dawn, Spiritual Connections, part of our Healing and Harmony series, about separation and how we have all these wounds as humans. But what it comes down to is a core wound of separation from God. So we might feel betrayed, we might feel rejected, we might feel neglected, we might feel abandoned in so many different experiences with regards to relationships or family dynamics or beliefs or experiences that we have within our physical world, within our physical form, within our human being. But what it comes down to, there's a root. There's a root experience. And what it comes down to is the belief that you're separate from yourself. What it comes down to is the belief that you're separate from God. And when you feel separate from God, you feel separate from the world. When in truth, we're all unified. When in truth, we're all part of that same tapestry of creation. When in truth, we're all part of God. Unique threads, unique expressions of God. That's what makes us beautiful. We're not robots or automatons. That's what makes us beautiful. We're unique expressions of God's source. But we can't negate or forget that we're connected to God's source. We stepped out of the garden in order to experience that separation so that we can understand that there is no separation, so that we could fully understand and remember that the kingdom is within us. We're stepping out of the physical garden. The physical Garden of Eden, we stepped out of that, or we were kicked out of that, or however you want to put it. We stepped out of that physical garden, but God, if all is God and God is all, that God is part of us. That garden is part of us. It's within us. And so wherever we go, we carry that garden within us, the garden of the heart. It's all about shifting your perspective. It's all about understanding that you're not separate, that you're always connected, and you carry that Eden, that kingdom of heaven, that template of Christ consciousness, of higher consciousness, of God consciousness within you, because you are part of God. One final message. The wind has calmed down, and they're bringing through the word tempest for me, and they're saying, when you feel the strong winds of a storm within you, this could be a dark night of the soul, this could be a crisis of faith, and that's when you find that peace in your center. The lights just went on, you see that? And that's when you find that peace within you. That's when you find the calm in your center. That's when you find God within yourself, because God itself is unwavering. God is always within you. So tune into that higher heart. Tune into the garden of the heart. Tune into the garden within. That is your Eden. That is your kingdom of heaven. That is your connectedness to yourself and to God as one.